Yeah, it's been
much rain.
no rain right now. It flooded about a week ago, but right now we're at about 100 degrees.
100
Yep.
degrees?
Yeah, it's been extremely hot here today.
Wow.
How's the weather like out by you?
That's not just hot, man. That is extremely hot.
Yeah, it was.
Chicago. I don't think I've ever been to Chicago when it's sunny. So for you to say it's 100 degrees in Chicago, that's how I know this is a prank call. It never gets so hot in Chicago.
Yeah, it was extreme today, but I think you have a show in the area next month, about an hour outside of Chicago, so you might end up catching some of the heat.
Bolingbrook.
Yes.
Does that sound right?
Yep, at Bolingbrook.
Bolingbrook, Illinois. Tailgaters.
Yes, sir.
Does it sound right?
Yep, I believe it's like a sports bar.
Is it? And also Janesville, Wisconsin, back bar. That's not too far away, apparently.
I believe it's maybe within like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour maximum.
But you're saying I'm not worth it?
Oh, extremely worth it.
But you know, Alex, I'm thinking the affair, it's not getting off to a very good start here. You're not prepared to drive 2 hours to see me in 100-degree heat.
I'll start walking now. I'll get my bottle of water ready.
Well, I'm really looking forward. I haven't been there for so long that with my own band, I really feel like this is the first proper US tour that I'm doing under my own name, and I'm so excited about it.
Do you have any surprises coming out of the set that people can look forward to or anything?
I think the biggest surprise is I'm actually coming. That's the biggest surprise. After so many years since Iron Maiden, I'm actually coming with my own band from Europe. It's the band that's played with me on the last 2 albums, and the guy who's on guitar for me is the guy that co-produced the album with me. They are a band in their own right called Absolver. They've done the last 4 big tours of Europe with me, and now I'm able to bring them to USA and the rest of the world. So I'm so excited about coming there with my own full band from Europe, and all the guys are English. And we're going to do, after every show, if I'm not sick and I don't have to catch a flight, we're doing a meet and greet free after every show. And if you want to bring your Maiden records and Wolfsbane records and my old stuff, you can bring it and have photos and get your stuff signed absolutely for free after every show that we do on the US tour, as a thank you to all the fans there who've waited so long to see a full headline Blaze Bayley show.
Oh, wow. And that's something you actually don't see with a lot of bands nowadays, or a free meet and greet. A lot of bands seem to want to have you pay for a meet and greet before the show.
I think it's different for different bands, you know. In the modern world, we're not supported by the vast numbers of CD or vinyl sales that there were in the 70s and 80s and perhaps the early 90s. Downloads are a fraction of what we used to get. The reason I can do it is I'm so small that my CD and vinyl sales are small anyway, but I'm completely independent, so I can choose exactly what I want to do. I set my own deadline and decide when I want to record and where I tour. So I'm totally independent, and that gives me a big advantage over a lot of other artists. You know, they are with a label, you know, they get big promotion and all of that. There's a lot of good things about being on a big label. I'm not. I am the record label, and I work with a very small team of people to maintain my artistic freedom and tour and record when I want and what I want, with no input from anybody else who is outside my very small
Okay.
hard-looking team. The only people I really listen to are my fans. And what I do is we do a Skype session when you buy the advance. When you buy in advance the album, do the pre-order. If you get the top edition, then we also do Skype calls as part of buying the premium edition. And I talk to people what they like about, different songs. I always ask people what the favourite songs are and stuff like that. And for me, it's a lot of fun and it's important to do it. It's nice to be able to see my fans, the people that support me and understand my music better than anybody else. It's so tough in this business and in this small niche that we've chosen to do called metal. It's very, very tough. And to actually meet the people that support me directly is fantastic, really. And it's the only reason I can carry on. I get support directly from my fans when they buy my albums on my web shop, when they pre-order my album. That's how I can continue to pay my rent and to get enough money together to make my album. So it's a special kind of relationship, I think, really.
Yeah, and it's great that you take the time to actually meet the people, and so I feel like a Blaze Bayley fan and one that's going to want to stick around after the show and meet you. It's a special kind of fan. It's not just your average one that's just walking into the show, possibly downloaded the album or such, but it's one that has a relationship almost with the music and with yourself then.
But some people live my music. Some people are casual listeners. To me, I'm grateful that anybody thinks I'm good enough to listen to. So that's already a bonus for me, that anybody thinks I'm worth listening to. So it's great, and I'm very, very lucky to have a job that I love to do, and I can do my own way. I'm so lucky to have the support of so many loyal fans around the world.
Well, I feel like the fans are lucky themselves, especially coming off of your music and the last album you put out, which is front to back, just a killer album.
Oh, thanks, mate. Thank you very much, Alex. It's very worrying in a way, because the first part of this trilogy, Infinite Entanglement, I thought I had some of the best songs I'd ever done. And then fans like yourself listened to Endure and Survive, part 2 of the trilogy, and many of them said, this is the best thing you've ever done. Some people like different albums that I've done, but a lot of people said, I think this is the best one you've ever done. And so many people said it was better than part 1. And that's really put the pressure on now for part 3.
Is there any news on when part 3 might come out? Or
yeah, well, I decided right at the beginning. I had the manager that I have is absolutely fantastic, and he's really with me on this independence and doing things for artistic reasons as much as business reasons. And I said, it's going to be a trilogy. It's one story, but it's over 3 albums. 3 concept albums tell this one story. But it has to come out 1st of March, 1st of March, 1st of March, on or about each year. I don't want people waiting around. I don't want it to be, it's not quite ready, we need a bit more time. I don't want any of that. I want it right. We're going to do part 1, part 2, part 3. And we decided that at the very beginning, before we even started the recording for Infinite Entanglement. And the studio is booked on odd days off on the tour and breaks. Then we've been able to do a little bit of writing, and there's some songs left over from the first album that when we listened to them at the time, we said, you know what, this sounds like it's the 3rd album. So it has to be this trilogy, because these lyrics and this music, he's somewhere else in that, and that's how we made sense of it. So we have 4 songs that bits and components to put part 3 together, and it's very scary, to be honest.
But do you think after maybe all 3 concept albums have come out, people have had time to digest them and look into them? Do you think the realm of possibility is out there for, even if it was just one show, for an evening with Blaze Bayley, where you play the entire concept in full?
Last year what we did was, we did a show in Sweden, in Wolfsbane, at Wolfsbane Rock and Art Tattoo and Rock Festival event. And the people that run that helped me so much, and we managed to get the whole cast together, almost the whole cast, to play Infinite Entanglement from start to finish with a few others. And we did a very, very basic recording of that, audio and visual, and that's going to be part of a 3-disc set. If you order the Platinum Edition of part 3, you're going to get 3 discs. 1 is the audio CD. 2 is a DVD that's the making of in the studio, how we made the album and how about the whole concept. And 3 is that DVD audio recording from the Wolfsbane event where I got the whole cast together. But it's so complicated and so difficult. I wouldn't like to say if there'd ever be another thing of that. But what will happen is the book will come out the following year. So any holes that are in the story or any questions that people have about who is linked to who and why they did what should be answered in that book that I'm writing in when it comes out in 2019.
Okay, and I mean, just from hearing you talk about all this stuff that you have planned for the future, it really is a testament to the labor of love for the music and the fans that you are just ready to give.
Oh, thank you, Alex. I'm very lucky to have such incredible support from fans around the world. I'm a very small, independent artist. Really, I'm a cult figure to many people. You'll find that there's a lot of people that don't know anything about me. Some people know a little bit about me, and there's just a few people that know everything about me and have all my albums, and those are the people that make it possible for me to continue. So I'm very, very lucky to have the support of such loyal fans that pre-order my albums without even knowing what's going to be on it. So that's something I'm very grateful for.
Sure, and I mean, you've had an extensive history coming back since the early 80s in metal. So even if a fan isn't aware that you're creating solo albums now, they might see your name pop up, remember your time in, let's say, Iron Maiden, and give this album a new chance, or come see one of your shows on your upcoming US tour.
Oh, I hope so. It'd be nice. I just need, I could always use a few more fans. And I think the important thing to me is, because I play in smaller venues and a lot of very independent venues, like tailgaters, then I managed to get close to people. And music, then you're closer at that gig than you are at a big gig. You're closer than you would be if you were at the front of the barrier. And you start to feel the music, and you can feel a connection. And there is magic there. On some evenings, when it goes really well, it's magical. There's a connection between you and the audience, and there's something really magical about that. And even though big events can be awe-inspiring, then I think there is this deep personal connection that is very, very rare at any big event.
Well, I think it's nice, too, looking at, like, your upcoming tour, for example, for the show at Tailgaters, where you're going to see Blaze Bayley and you're not having to sit through 5 opening bands who were throwing on there for no particular reason. you're seeing, I believe Tailgaters has one opening band for you, and then the stage is yours.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but what we try to do is limit the number of support bands so that we can play a longer set, because we feel a lot of times, there are exceptions, but a lot of times then the support bands are late, rude and under-rehearsed, and why should my fans sit through that when they're not really worth watching, and they're late and they're taking up time that I could be playing songs of my own. So over the last 3 years, what we've tried to do is absolutely put a limit on the amount of bands. Obviously, unless it's a festival or something like that, we've tried to put a limit on the amount of bands that we have as openers, and we try to make sure that they don't play too long and that they treat the fans with respect, and that's very, very important. And in the end, I want time at the end of my show to sign for my fans, to meet my fans. So if the support band makes me late, and at the end of my show everybody gets kicked out of the venue, then that's absolutely no good to me. So at the end of the show, the venue should still be open, and I should be able to sign for my fans. And a lot of support bands just have very little respect. There are some notable exceptions, and to be honest, whenever the support band is good and is on time and helpful, then we always make a big fuss of them on our Facebook page, and we really let fans know that they are worth supporting.
That's true. I think the support band for Tailgaters is, I believe it's a cover band, actually.
I don't know. It's too far away.
Yeah, I believe it's something along the lines of a Sabbath or a Dio cover band.
I thought it was perhaps a band that played classic theme tunes from video games of the 80s.
Unless they have changed it, I believe the last image I saw, a flyer for the show, had it labeled as, it was some sort of classic metal band, but they were a cover band.
Okay.
But onto the fact that you still go out and will sign stuff, I find it very impressive that you don't limit what people can bring to you, because some singers that were in past bands.
If you have your whole collection, then please send a message on the official Blaze Bayley Facebook, and I'll try and get out before the show to sign it if you're bringing your collection. But otherwise, you know, I'm hoping that this is the start, and we'll be this year, and we'll be coming back next year with part 3. So hopefully there'll be plenty of opportunity to have photos and get things signed with everybody. I'm very excited about coming.
Yeah, that's great, because you could very easily only sign stuff from your current run or not want to sign anything Maiden related, but instead you embrace everything that you've had throughout your career.
I think I look at it the way that Ronnie James Dio did, and he always embraced everything that he did to the best of his ability, and there was always a Sabbath song or Rainbow song in his set list. So I feel like that, really. You know, I'm metal, I'm proud of what I've done, I'm proud of the bands that I've been in. So for me, I believe that fans have followed me. Some fans have followed me since the very early days, since my first demos. Some fans have got. So I always try to keep in touch with the past, but not dwell on it.
Now, when you're making a set list, with all the material that you have, how do you pick out which Wolfsbane song to play or which Iron Maiden song you want to perform?
Well, there's a couple of favourites. So we'll almost always do Man on the Edge and Future Real. And one of the songs I'll be doing on this tour is Virus, which is from the Best of the Beast album with Maiden. and it's my own version of Virus. Maiden never played Virus live when I was in the band and have never played it since. So I do my own version of Virus and it just feels great. So I'm really looking forward to doing that for fans over there. We'll be doing Man on the Edge and Future Real as well. And from Wolfsbane, we'll probably be doing Manhunt. But from the very first Wolfsbane album, and it was also a video clip as well on that Live Fast, Die Fast album from Wolfsbane, and then quite a lot of stuff because it is the Endurance Survive tour, Endurance Survive and Infinite Entanglement, so it'll be quite a mix. I think there'll be something for everybody no matter how far back you go, but please try to get Endure and Survive album one way or the other, whether you order the CD or the vinyl or get it on Spotify or iTunes. Please try and have a listen to it before we get there so you're familiar with some of the songs.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, I personally find the album to be fantastic. I think songs like Endurance, Survive, Escape Velocity, I mean, there really isn't a bad track that's on the album.
No, thanks very much, Ray.
And here's what I was thinking earlier when I was actually listening to it. You have songs like Endurance, Survive that almost have the feeling to it that it could be backed by an orchestra. Was that ever a thought that came across your mind at all, trying to create a song with a grander scale?
At some point in the future, I think it's a few years away, I'd like to do a full orchestra album, but not with a metal band, just orchestra. I'm doing a new acoustic album at some point, which I do with classical guitar and violin, and I'm not sure if I'll be recording that at the end of the summer next year, but look out for it.
So you have a general plan almost for years to come on different albums and sounds and books to make?
I'd like to have some, ever since I started in the Wolfsbane days, we used to put a calendar up on the wall that we made ourselves, and we'd look at the wall, and if we had no gigs on those calendar, man, we just used to get so depressed. So what I do is I'm always talking to my manager, and we're always going, what could we do then? And in 2019, we could try then. Well, in 2020, why don't we think about doing this? And so we're always talking about these things, and some ideas work and some ideas don't. This one has worked. Infinite Entanglement is 3 albums. We're doing 3 tours. It's coming out on vinyl. Each one is coming out on vinyl. So the Endurance Survive vinyl comes out soon. You can pre-order it now from the web shop. Next year there'll be vinyl to go with part 3 as well. So it's really happening. And at the end of the next tour of Europe in France, we're going to make a DVD of the Endure and Survive tour. So we're very, very excited about it.
Now that's great to hear that you're putting everything out on vinyl and on CD and on digital. Really a way for there to be no excuse for somebody to not be able to get it.
Well, I hope so. So I like to embrace all formats. And I don't have a lot of CDs anymore. Most of my music now is on download. And I moved so many times and had to, I've been broke so often, I've had to sell my complete vinyl collection and my CD collection. So most of the stuff that I got is on download. So I appreciate that format. I love it when we can do our own vinyl. So we have Infinite Entanglement on vinyl. We have Endurance Survive coming out on vinyl. I did vinyl for the anniversary of my Silicon Messiah album, and I think it's gone great,
Now, for the vinyl releases, did you get to do anything special with it? Were they a colored vinyl?
I like to keep it the same. I like to keep the music the same. It's mastered for the vinyl, and the artwork obviously is laid out especially for the vinyl, but I don't like really to do any extra bits or things like that for the vinyl. I feel that, I speak to my fans, and I know that some fans only get my music on vinyl. So I don't really want them to have bits missing that are on the CD or online. If you buy something, whether it's online or on CD or on vinyl, I think you should have the complete thing.
That's true.
You shouldn't have to buy every format. So I sell the same piece of music to someone 3 times over because it's got 3 minutes that are missing from something else. I don't agree with that, and really, I just don't need to do it. I think sometimes if I feel like doing something special, I'll do it. I did it for the soundtracks of my Life album. I did a couple of different songs, new songs, with a friend of mine from Texas called Rick Plester, and they turned out really well. But otherwise, I'm against adding special things on. If you want special things, you order the premium package CD, and then you get extra bits and pieces. You get a making of DVD, but the audio CD is always the same.
Okay, so you never have to worry about buying the vinyl and missing out on what the CD came with or anything like that.
No, you just get the vinyl. Just is great. You get the big artwork, and of course the sound. If you've got even a reasonable, not the top of the range, but just a reasonable turntable and speakers, vinyl will beat digital almost every time.
I completely agree with that.
Endure and Survive, we've got a very special master purposely for vinyl, and the amount of information that goes onto that vinyl is more than you can fit onto a CD. So it just does sound better. You listen to these test pressings of Endure and Survive, and they're absolutely fantastic, It's like being back in the studio, in the room.
Yeah, it usually does end up feeling almost larger and grander than it would on a CD or through a pair of small headphones.
Well, I've got to go, Alex. It's lovely to talk to you. Thank you very much for your support. I'd like to say a big thank you to all of the fans in Chicago for waiting so long. I can't wait to get to Tailgaters and do the best show I possibly can. It's a free meet and greet, and I'm happy to sign anything from my career. As long as I'm on it, I'll sign it.
Have you had a lot of people try to bring you stuff that you're not on?
I have, yeah, by accident, or there are some things. I don't like signing napkins and things like this, but generally my fans are into it for the music, not the celebrity. They like it because of my voice, because of the music that we do. They're not there just to be with somebody famous. That's pop music, really. Exactly. So that'll be it. So I look forward to seeing you. Hopefully you'll be at the show, mate.
I'm going to do my best to try to make it to Tailgaters.
Okay.
All right, Blaze.
Well, lovely talking to you, Alex. Hope to see you there, mate.
Well, it has been a true honor. You have a great night.
Okay, cheers, Alex. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.